Top 10 highest grossing anime movies. Films made in Japan produce revenue through various sources. The lists below consider box office earnings at cinemas and other sources of income such as merchandising or home video. The lists include only anime movies. Some of these movies can be considered masterpieces, so please do not miss the chance and watch the video until the end. Number 10. Stand By Me Doraemon. 13.4 billion Japanese yen revenue. Doraemon is one of the most beloved Japanese characters. This film was released in 2014. The plot is as follows. In the suburbs of Tokyo some time ago, there lived a clumsy boy about 10 years old called Nobita. There appeared in front of him Sawashi, Nobita's descendant of 4 generations later from the 22nd century, and Doraemon, a 22nd century cat-type caretaker robot who helps people with its secret gadgets. Sawashi claims that his family is suffering from the debts Nobita made even to his generation, so in order to change this disastrous future, he brought along Doraemon as Nobita's caretaker to bring happiness to his future, although Doraemon is not happy about this. And so Sawashi installed an accomplishment program into Doraemon, forcing him to take care of Nobita. Unless he makes Nobita happy, Doraemon can no longer go back to the 22nd century. This is how the life of Doraemon and Nobita begins. Will Doraemon succeed in this mission and return to the 22nd century? Number 9. JUJUTSU Kaisen 0. 13.80 billion Japanese yen revenue. Release in 2021. In this movie, Yuta Okatsu is haunted by the spirit of his childhood friend Rika, who died in a tragic traffic accident. Her spirit no longer appears as the sweet girl he called his beloved. Instead, her spirit has been cursed and she manifests as a monstrous entity who protects him against his will. Unable to control Rika's immense power, Yuta is helpless to stop the bloodshed caused by his curse. As a result, Yuta is apprehended by Jujutsu sorcerers, secret guardians of the world who are trained to combat cursed spirits like Rika. Yuta wishes to die in complete isolation so no one else can get hurt, but Satoru Gojo offers him a different path. Number 8. Weathering with You. 14.19 billion Japanese yen revenue. This is the first Makoto Shinkai film in the list. It was released in 2019. It takes place between Shinjuku and Ikebukuro in Japan. This is a beautifully animated film about love, growing up, and humans' emotional connection to the weather. It features Hodaka. He runs away from home to chase a light that brings him to Hina. Someone who has just experienced a recent tragedy that is life-altering and makes it seem the rain overhead and darkness the clouds brings are very fitting for her mood. But she too sees a light and ventures to where it lands on the top of a condemned building. It is there when she finds herself praying at a small shrine and finding herself becoming a sunshine girl. Now, what is a sunshine girl? Well, it means when Hina prays, the rain that has lasted over Tokyo for over 2 months dissipates. However, when it comes to Hodaka, Hina is less of a sunshine girl because of a mysteriously inherited power and more so for being a light in what he portrays to be a rather dark life. Before we continue, if you like the video, please subscribe so we can keep bringing new videos for you. Number 7. PONYO. 15.50 billion Japanese yen revenue. PONYO is one of the movies from the beloved and famous Studio Ghibli in Japan. PONYO might not be one of the most famous movies, but is still worth watching. During a forbidden excursion to see the surface world, a goldfish princess encounters a human boy named Sasuke, who gives her the name PONYO. PONYO longs to become human, and as her friendship with Sasuke grows, she becomes more human-like. PONYO's father brings her back to their ocean kingdom, but so strong is PONYO's wish to live on the surface that she breaks free, and in the process, spills a collection of magical elixirs that endanger Sasuke's village. Number 6. HOWL'S Moving Castle. 19.60 billion Japanese yen revenue. Another movie of Studio Ghibli. This is a beautiful animated movie. The movie is loosely based on the 1986 novel of the same name by British author Diana Wynne-Jones. The film is set in a fictional kingdom where both magic and early 20th century technology are prevalent, against the backdrop of a war with another kingdom. It tells the story of Sophie, a young milliner who is turned into an elderly woman by a witch who enters her shop and curses her. She encounters a wizard named Howl and gets caught up in his resistance to fighting for the king. Influenced by Miyazaki's opposition to the United States invasion of Iraq in 2003, the film contains strong anti-war themes. Miyazaki stated that he had a great deal of rage about the Iraq War, which led him to make a film which he felt would be poorly received in the United States. 5. It also explores the theme of old age, depicting age positively as something which grants the protagonist freedom. The film contains feminist elements as well, and carries messages about the value of compassion. In 2013, Miyazaki said Howl's Moving Castle was his favorite creation, explaining, "I wanted to convey the message that life is worth living, and I don't think that's changed." The film is significantly thematically different from the novel. While the novel focuses on challenging class and gender norms, the film focuses on love, personal loyalty, and the destructive effects of war. Number 5. One Piece film, Red. 19.70 billion Japanese yen revenue. This is the newest movie on the list, and of course, how could we think about anime without picturing Luffy in our heads? The film introduces Yuta, the most beloved singer in the world, who for the first time ever, will reveal herself to the world at a live concert. The voice that the whole world has been waiting for is about to resound. Her voice, which she sings with while concealing her true identity, has been described as otherworldly. She will appear in public for the first time at a live concert. As the venue fills with all kinds of Yuta fans, including all kinds of excited pirates as the Big Mom Pirates, Navy, Heart Pirates, and more, watching closely, and the Straw Hats led by Luffy, who simply came to enjoy her sonorous performance. You can already imagine with all these groups in the same place where this is leading. The story begins with the shocking fact that she is Shank's daughter. Number 4. Princess Mononoke. 20.18 billion Japanese yen revenue. One of the most important films from Studio Ghibli and released in 1997. Princess Mononoke is set in the late Muromachi period of Japan, approximately 1336 to 1573 AD, but it includes fantasy elements. The story follows a young emissary prince named Ashitaka, and his involvement in a struggle between the gods, kami, of a forest and the humans who consume its resources. The term Mononoke is not a name, but a Japanese word for supernatural, shape-shifting beings that possess people and cause suffering, disease, or death. The film was released in Japan on July 12, 1997 by Toho, and in the United States on October 29, 1999. It was a critical and commercial blockbuster, becoming the highest-grossing film in Japan of 1997, and also held Japan's box office record for domestic films until 2001's Spirited Away, another Miyazaki film. Number 3. Your Name or Kimi no Na wa. 25.03 billion Japanese yen revenue. This is the most recognized and beautiful film up to now from Makoto Shinkai. It was released in 2016 and was a big hit. Mitsuha Mayamizu, a high school girl, yearns to live the life of a boy in the bustling city of Tokyo, a dream that stands in stark contrast to her present life in the countryside. Meanwhile in the city, Teki Tachibana lives a busy life as a high school student while juggling his part-time job and hopes for a future in architecture. One day, Mitsuha awakens in a room that is not her own and suddenly finds herself living the dream life in Tokyo, but in Taki's body. Elsewhere, Taki finds himself living Mitsuha's life in the humble countryside. In pursuit of an answer to this strange phenomenon, they begin to search for one another. Kimi no Na wa revolves around Mitsuha and Taki's actions, which begin to have a dramatic impact on each other's lives, weaving them into a fabric held together by fate and circumstance. Number 2. Spirited Away. 31.68 billion Japanese yen revenue. This is the film with major recognition internationally. It is also a Studio Ghibli movie and won the Academy Award as Best Animated Movie in 2001. In this animated feature by noted Japanese director Hayao Miyazaki, 10-year-old Chihiro and her parents stumble upon a seemingly abandoned amusement park. After her mother and father are turned into giant pigs, Chihiro meets the Mysterious, who explains that the park is a resort for supernatural beings who need a break from their time spent in the earthly realm, and that she must work there to free herself and her parents. Number 1. Demon Slayer the Movie, Mugen Train. 65.06 billion Japanese yen revenue. The most recent Demon Slayer film, Mugen Train, smashed all sales records and quickly became the highest-grossing anime film ever. This dark fantasy action film is based on the Mugen Train arc and is the direct sequel to the first season of Demon Slayer. The action scenes are breathtaking. One of the best fight scenes in anime is arguably the final battle between Rengoku and the upper rank 3 monster. Mugen Train is Ufotable's all-time best film. The movie is almost perfect, with a gripping plot, excellent music, and thrilling 2D and 3D VFX. It is a 2-hour work of genius that brilliantly illuminates the field of animation. The movie is a follow-up to the extremely popular TV series Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, that premiered in April 2019 and was based on Koyo Harugatou's comic, which boasts over 100 million copies in circulation in Japan. Featuring animation production from revered animation studio Ufotable, the story follows Tanjiro Kamato's journey as a demon slayer after his family is brutally murdered and his sister is turned into a demon. The film opens as Tanjiro and his comrades have completed their rehabilitation training at the Butterfly Mansion, and they arrive at their next mission on the Mugen train, where over 40 people have disappeared in a very short span of time. Tanjiro and Nezuko, along with Zenitsu and Inosuke, join one of the most powerful swordsmen of the Demon Slayer Corps, Flame Hashira Kaijuro Rengoku, to face the demon aboard the Mugen train, on track to despair. This concludes our video. We hope you liked it. Do you like anime? Have you ever watched one of these movies? Do you want any recommendations? Please let us know in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe and thank you for watching. See you next time.